I nearly retired in 2022 actually, because I got to a point with my bodybuilding where I was sick of comparison.
Mr. James Hollingshead, it is an absolute pleasure to have you on the podcast. How are you doing?
Good, Jack. Pleasure to be here, mate. Nice that you asked. Thanks,
Yeah,
mate.
mate.
Yeah, honestly, so yeah. Some people sometimes ask, and I don't really know them personally, and sometimes I don't really, not in a rude way, but I don't know if there would be anything we'd get from the conversation.
Yeah,
But I'm obviously someone that I keep an eye on what you up to as well and stuff. So for me, it's just as much about hearing from you as you hearing from me, you know. So
I appreciate it, brother. Like, I've been following you since pretty much just before you got your pro card, actually back in 2017.
yeah,
Uh,
long time.
it's yeah, it's been quite the journey to follow. So it's like I remember following you, and it was like, oh, you're one of the top supers to get the pro card this year, right? And then it's seeing that journey. And at first, it was seeing the physique.
Mm,
And the awesome thing about it is, got to see more of you as a person through obviously seeing you on podcasts and things like
yeah,
that. And then I see bodybuilding as an art, and every behind every piece of art, which is the physique, you get to see the incentive behind why
yeah,
someone's creating that art,
yeah,
and what it
totally.
means to them.
Yeah,
So
because the canvas, like what you see, the end result is all to do. The end result of anyone's art, the way of creating it was not the same, or the reason for creating it was not the same. So that's
for
quite cool you say
sure,
that, because even I sometimes forget that about this, and reminding yourself about things like that is actually a great reason for you to pursue it. You know,
yeah,
because a lot of people forget about that.
100%. They do, and I think it is easy to forget when you're in the process of it, and you start setting these goals and going, right, okay, the goal now is to get to get the pro card, to get my first pro win, or to place at this show. um but obviously we're doing this because of the process,
Yeah,
and
for
that
sure.
is the initial why. Have you found that your why has changed throughout this process for bodybuilding?
Oh, numerous times, brother. Like you say in the
Yeah.
beginning, there's this original reason behind why you do what you do, and it's normally something that isn't in play to try to get you to a specific place. It's to deal with a specific time or a feeling. You know, so the beginning of your bodybuilding, albeit maybe not competitive, it's mostly about how you're dealing with your current environments. You know, like is there something in your life that's good, bad? Do you need,
Mm.
you know, basically it's just something that you feel like you have to do in order to uh, either correct your existence. And I'm not trying to be too deep
Okay.
here. It's just for facts of what bodybuilding is for a lot of people. Something's just not quite right normally in your existence. Normally, for me anyway, that you felt there was need for something to be changed. It was never for me just oh, I fancy lifting weights because it looks fun.
Yeah.
Which is fine if it is, of course. Listen, if that's what it is, if you're, that's what we said before. You know, there's so many reasons to as why you wish to do this. And if
There
you
is.
woke up one day and you're like, oh, I just want to be a bodybuilder or I want to lift weights, that's perfectly valid as well.
Yeah.
You know,
I find bodybuilding is a conduit for many things,
yeah,
and to actually stay in it, you've got to redefine the why. I find
100%,
because
bro.
you get to that point, you're just going to burn out, and it's like you'll have you relinquish you'll relinquish that initial fuel, and then you might assume, say, like another identity, and that could be within another process, right? But
Mm.
if you want to stay within this process, it's like, right, okay, maybe because a lot of people will get into this with like a fuck you energy. It's like,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Oh, dude, 100%, yeah.
yeah, and then can you keep that going for 10 years?
That can't sustain you forever. It's not
No,
enough, especially as you mature as a human. You know, as you become an older
for
person,
sure.
you realize that anger and carrying it around with you isn't something that's necessarily appropriate. Because in the beginning, you know, you're a teenager and you're testosterone, you know, you don't know the the inner functions and of how the world operates. So therefore, you're naive to the disruption you may cause by being such a way. You know, you don't realize that it could
Yeah,
have an effect later. And all, you know, and it's not a bad thing because at that time you kind of can get away with it because your world isn't that big.
Yeah,
You know, when the world's
yeah,
small, you can be that little kind of aggressive,
yeah.
assertive young individual who's really passionate about what they do. The passion has to remain, but it's then how do you kind of refocus it or
That's it.
reinstate something in its place of that initial reason, you know.
Yeah,
Um, I've had it happen numerous times during my bodybuilding. The reasons to why I compete shift, and sometimes you find yourself actually looking for a reason to shift because what's currently being done is not serving you.
yes,
You
I
know, you're like,
think.
if I keep on this road, it won't be my best because it's not serving me.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
yeah,
It's not like the fires just doesn't seem that it seems to be dwindling, and you're what losing motivation alongside it. So it's like it's almost like the passion for bodybuilders going, and then you can sort of go, right, okay, this is the new fucking reason.
for sure.
Um, and it's like you're saying, it's like it can help you fix things in life, and that's what I'm saying when you can use it as a conduit. I remember like for myself first getting into this, and there's this, probably like an initial bit of ego where you're like, okay, I've got this insecurity. I want to prove something to other people. I want to, be big, and I want to look fucking big and get that validation from
Mhm.
elsewhere.
Yeah, 100%.
And then I got to a point where I find myself living in a YMCA, and I'm like, holy shit, I'm sort of being a bum, you
Yeah,
know? And I'm like, okay, now I'm going to use bodybuilding as this funnel of success to keep me structured
yeah,
so that I'm looking after my basic needs. I'm
yeah.
providing a roof over my head. I can fund it. I'm, just sleeping on time and looking after that. I'm making sure I'm hydrated. Da, 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 da. And if I set this goal of competing for a show, then life is actually going to correct itself, as you say.
Hmm.
And it's like, okay, cool. And it's that, it sort of changes each time. It's like, holy fuck, because a lot of people say bodybuilding, it takes away from life. I'm like, I don't know, man. I feel like it's just given a lot, really, for to sustain it.
Yeah.
I've had to be on my shit to be able
I
to do
think
that.
the opinion that it messes up your life means that there's something incorrect about perhaps bodybuilding in that individual.
Yeah,
Like not everyone's meant to do bodybuilding.
yeah,
You can train, you can enjoy it, but it doesn't mean you have to take it the step up and follow the nutrition, or you don't have to take the step up and get on stage. And I think we live in a time where it's really hard for people not to feel like they have to commit further than they want to.
yeah,
Like it's not okay just to be a gym guy now.
yeah, yeah,
And there is nothing wrong with that. That's great. And because if you can just be yourself and follow your own kind of desires, then you're not going to occupy space that could have been spent on something that you truly give a damn about, you know? So
mhm,
without going too far, we're kind of in a time where there's a lot of external pressure because a lot of us spend way too much time on our phones. And whether you like it or not, there's indirect or direct influence of other people. And it creates a sense of comparison, jealousy, desire, and all of those things sometimes encourage you to behave in a way or do something that if you weren't exposed to them, you wouldn't necessarily do.
yeah,
So it's almost like a false passion for a lot of people.
yeah, yeah,
Um, it's hard to get away from it unless you were to like put that down for a month and see how you feel about life. Because maybe if you did put that down for a month, then you'd go, "Oh, I'm finding myself doing things that are quite different, and I'm actually really enjoying them." But
yeah.
we're all very subject to it, and we can go into this later if you like. But I find that probably one of the most difficult aspects of life in general
Yeah.
is how this influences your outlook on things, even though it's not even important.
Yes, yeah, mate. It's actually an exploration I'm going through at the moment where I'm like really being conscious of just cheap dopamine,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
where my sources of dopamine are coming from, and just I'm trying to like be conscious of because like you say, you could be almost subconsciously altered
yeah,
psychologically by this and just by the habits that you have, but modern day life, right?
Mhm.
And it's like, right, if I'm more conscious of this and I actually take control, I wonder how my reality is going to change off the back of that.
I think
And
it'd
who,
be dramatically different for a majority of us.
yeah,
It's kind of like a way to make someone behave in a way that you wish for them to do. Wouldn't be screaming at them on one occasion and saying, be that way. It would be gentle influence on a subconscious level, wouldn't it?
yeah,
So, if I wanted, if it's like most interests we have in life, they've occurred because of being exposed to something, not for a short period of time, but for a duration. Whether it's been you grow up with your parents and your dad likes football and he puts football on the telly. Like it's
yeah,
okay. I've seen a football match on telly so many times now that it's ingrained in who I am.
yeah.
Um, and then that does happen on all levels, including social media, unfortunately.
Yeah, for sure. It's like, that's how marketing works, is it
It
just
is.
taps into you like, oh, I fancy McDonald's for some reason.
That's the thing I actually really dislike about the current climate. Like, I don't want podcasts to be negative at all. I'm just saying that I don't like how marketing has overridden all the other aspects of like just quality of product, quality of produce, quality of
Yeah,
the vision of the individuals, the expression of the art itself, of any art,
yeah,
is cheapened down and watered down because we're all bent to be, our will is bent to suit the picture of the big companies, whoever it may be.
yeah,
We all then find ourselves falling into a very similar way of behaving in order to try to impress and level up in the sense of what the world thinks leveling up is, but at the cost of our individuality and our cost of our true happiness. How many people are online and like we're all like I'm doing it now. Like we're selling you protein, we're selling you creatine, we're telling you to do this, that, and that's just one. That's one. Environment within many others. This is just one industry.
yeah,
I feel like the ability to truly be yourself is almost a little bit robbed from us because of how we're so weak to the idea that we're nothing unless we are the most popular or we do get the most likes or we are the most spoken about. Weird times.
100%. Like 100%, mate. And I think this is a symptom of capitalism, really, and you can see that seeped into social media, how people are sort of putting it together, their content. If you were to just sit down and say what is what, just plainly, that's not going to work. You've got to have there's a lot of rage bait and engagement baiting, which takes away from people's ability to be authentic.
Yeah,
And that's pretty much what you're saying, right? Is like the people, it's hard to be authentic because we're having to compete with this. And there's this pressure to compete with it. And it's like I was listening to a book that this reminds me of. I don't know if you've listened to it or read it. The sort of law of not giving a fuck.
I know the
Um,
one, and a lot of people. I think I've been suggested it before. I
yeah,
think my wife or maybe my sister have read it, but yeah, please probably proceed. I was
yeah, I'm shit at reading. I'm too ADHD to just like, I'm
yeah, so
like
audiobook guy.
audiobook. Yeah, so I'm listening to it and it's by Mark Manson. He references going when he's traveling everywhere, he goes to Russia and he's like, these guys are just so upfront and honest. And it's like brutal. And he thought originally they're rude, but it's a
Sure.
different type of society
Yeah,
because they're from communism, right? Where they're on a level playing field.
yeah,
So them being just honest and authentic is actually a sign that you can trust the other person
for sure.
because there's no reason to be like misleading or try to um
Yeah,
alter someone's perception
of
to
you. Yeah,
highlight something.
yeah,
And I thought that's quite interesting because that's what this modern day is about, and you get rewarded for it if you do it very well.
yeah.
It's like the best people. It's like we take it to bodybuilding. The best bodybuilders, or perceived best bodybuilders, are the ones who are good at just marketing themselves on social media,
Hmm.
right? and you've got influencers with more following than a Mr. Olympia.
Yeah, yeah.
And you've seen this across different sports where, it's like boxing. Look what's happening, right? You Jake Paul's getting the most
You got Jake
fights.
Paul getting more than anything, and he's not even from
Yeah,
that realm.
no,
You
he's
know,
not. And he's not. And it's like that's where it's turning into because it's more marketable, it's more entertaining, right?
it's a shame because it's that the humans are just after the cheap thrills.
And
They're just
it's
after the
getting
cheap thrills.
more,
And it's like unless you're comedy or you're dramatic, you don't have a place in this world.
yeah.
So I struggle with this massively because what you were saying there, like I feel I'm a very honest person, perhaps so honest that it's hard for me to then to adjust to suit the narrative. Um, and then when I find myself having to do it because of income, blah blah blah, what keeps the roof over my head, I then have this like internal battle where I actually feel quite depressed. And I'm like, I want to be me. I want to be just me. And the one time I really am just me is if anyone ever meets me in person, because there's
Hmm.
no one watching. You know,
Yeah.
um, I do feel like that. I hate social media, like what I do, because I feel like I just want to put on there what I like, but I know what I like isn't cool. Um, it's cool to the right people, to be honest. It would be cool to the people I actually would care about. Um, but this is the kind of struggle we face every day with many things that we do. It's like you say, there's this just inauthenticity that we're kind of forced to be in the pocket of in order to drive up numbers or sales or respect, which isn't really respect, is it? At the end of the day, because respect is something you earn through. Normally, respect for me comes from someone's discipline or behavior. Um, I don't know. Something I can talk about a lot, and I could probably go really too far into it. But yeah, I struggle with that a lot, Jack. That's the one thing I struggle with a lot.
Yeah, to be honest, I can relate because it's like it's tricky because it's what level do you play the game? And what level do you play it to a point of losing yourself? How much are you willing to sacrifice a level of authenticity
Yeah,
to sort of be a part of what is working, what you need to be, right? Um, it's like I'm trying to figure out a way for myself. Can I do it both ways, right?
yeah, for
You
sure.
know,
I think that's what we probably spend the first 30 minutes of the day doing the treadmill, trying to calibrate how to
yeah,
approach the day in a way that will not break us, but also allow us to intercept how things are now. Get in there.
yeah, and it's I find it's tricky because that is ultimately what is changing bodybuilding. It's going to be changing the whole structure of it,
Yeah,
and I feel like you know I got into it just as it was more of like this cult, and
yeah,
right at the end of it,
yeah,
and just as social media was, bodybuilding was becoming more prevalent, so it was a very weird time, and I'm like, that I felt like I got into it more authentically than a lot of people would do, because as you say, that there seems to be this pressure
mm,
where people are like, I might do a show, just because they've gone to the gym and they
yeah,
like.
yeah.
I'm like, that's not a natural next step. That's a completely that's a separate hobby. Like you would choose to
It is
do if you
it's a
wanted to do
different
it.
it's a completely different thing. They're not married. They're not hand in hand. But obviously, if you look at the way that with all the categories that have been established over the last few years,
Mhm.
that's kind of been the stepping stone that has caused the causation of that happening, because now that there is categories for people who are essentially underdeveloped to be able to step on stage and present themselves, it's then meant that the distance from day dot to day Z is no longer, you know, A to Z, it's A to B.
Mhm.
So you're introduced into this kind of competitive environment a lot earlier, which I actually don't think is good for the human psyche, because I feel like you should be prepared and because what's going to come with sometimes a loss is a lot of feelings. If you go into
Yeah.
something and you lose, doesn't matter whether it's the bottom or the top quality in the world, there's still this feeling of losing.
Hmm.
And you could argue on the other side, oh well, people should get used to losing, and losing's part of life. Yeah, it is, but it's meant to come at a time when you're mature enough to kind of do it. And mature enough doesn't mean age;
Yeah.
it means mature enough within a process to do it. You know.
Yeah, I feel like you want to spend long enough where you've got a really solid why.
Yeah.
And I remember doing this, and I was like, I really just fell in love with it
Yeah.
and watching it. And I was like, I really just love doing this. I want to give it a go
Yeah.
to see if I like doing it competitively.
Yeah.
And I'll have my horse handed to me, just because I want to give it a go.
For sure.
Yeah, and I find that is, people haven't sort of found a very strong why when they get into it, because again, it just feels like they're sort of being pushed towards this thing.
Sure. For
I'm
sure.
like, I don't know.
Again, like we said earlier, because everything's now about the financial gain of all the. Everyone's just trying to make every person now is like just in this pressure cooker to make money. Like you look at the majority,
Yeah.
like you go online and you got these like inboxes coming from so many people spam daily,
Mhm.
all offering some sort of service that will allow you to profit or them profit. Like the world's gone like kind of money mad, and no one's happy just to be exist and have enough. It's not okay
Yeah,
just to have enough, you know.
yeah,
Um,
because we're being told, we're seeing all the time. It's like, look at this life
yeah,
that we've got, and the life that the irony is, the life that people are projecting isn't authentic because that's how they're making money, and so
yeah.
it's this endless cycle where it's bouncing off each
Oh,
other, and it's like a
I
spiral.
I look at it like I did a post earlier. Like obviously I've had this home gym built. Yeah,
Hmm.
I could have whacked up. Like I could have had my YouTube guy around filming the whole thing, and those kind of videos get a shitload of viewership, don't they? Home
Yeah,
gym. I spent, you could say £60,000 home gym in England, back garden. That would have got views galore because it's just the nature of it. But it's selling your soul to me. Like
yeah,
there's a part of it's like, can't some things just be better left for you?
yeah.
Not everything has to be for everyone, but
Does it have to be scripted?
no, because imagine how different you would behave if the camera is on. Like
Yeah,
I don't want to behave. I don't want to behave differently because, like, if you spend your life behaving like that, it's like you said, you will find yourself not the same person
yeah,
because you've been wearing a mask that's ultimately then become your skin after a
yeah.
while.
And
And I just don't want that. I just want to be me. So therefore, sometimes I actually hold back on potential opportunities because they're opportunities for money, but they're not opportunities for what I consider a better, more harmonious existence.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, like imagine the negative reinforcement that you're going to get from that being validated for
because
an
I can
act
spend
that you're
this
putting
much,
on.
yeah.
Yeah,
Because I can spend. I don't. Also, I'm the sort of like. Not everyone has this. I don't want to be that guy that's like, look what I done with my money, because then I'm just feeding the loop.
yeah,
Because then
yeah,
what I'm doing is then I'm making the people that feel like they don't have enough feel pressurized and feel in a way that many of us have felt at times when we compare.
yeah,
Um, and I'd hate that for anyone. I'd hate someone to be like, oh well, my life's shit because he can do this and I can't.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
my message in bodybuilding is that I came from a small town like most of us, and I did make something of it. Doesn't matter what I made of it, but I made something of it. And that's all. That's what I'm trying to. That's always what I try to share.
yeah,
Genetics, blah blah blah. Yeah, mine are all right. They're good enough to get to the Olympia, but I mean, I'm not Phil Heath. But don't give up on yourself.
yeah,
That's more. Isn't that more important? But you know what? If we do a video talking about that, the problem is you put that online, you get like you might get 200 likes, 200 views.
yeah, yeah,
But if you do a video where you build a gym in the garden and you show your kit coming in and you get a really good cinematographer to like make it look flashy, oh man, the guy's making P now. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that for some individuals if that's what they want to do and that is clever, it makes money. I'm just like so surprised that the world has gone that way. That's just me.
it's yeah, yeah, and it's God, I remember doing a social media experiment and just thought myself, I knew what it would be like. I just stood in front of a Lamborghini, right? And I was like, new car. And then the hashtags was, I don't even have a fucking
Yeah,
license,
yeah,
you know?
yeah,
And people were like, congratulations, da, 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 da. And I'm like, well, people haven't even looked at the caption
Of course they haven't,
enough.
because they
But
fucking
yeah, and I'm like, it it is mad. It is fucking crazy. But it's like, is there an opportunity for us to fuck off the phone and fuck off social media and be like, I don't know, a little bit in our own bubble without being completely could we delineate it, you know? Um
I would wish that the case. Like I would love nothing more than people like myself or you just to go away, work hard, come out of nowhere, stomp the shows,
that'd be
and then
cool.
just say, look, I'm not in this for social media, I'm in this for bodybuilding, and I am a bodybuilder,
Yeah,
and then just walk away. Like that's
yeah,
it.
yeah.
And if you can sustain a financial income, like if you can sustain an income, then there's no reason probably why you can't. Um,
So
I don't know. I always think about that. That's why I'm building a home gym, dude, because I don't really want to be subject to opinion or
mm,
um, I don't know. Just sometimes you just want to be locked into your own mindset and find your why again, And as you said earlier, you
yeah.
have to have a why. Like if you were to be proposed that question right now in this moment in time, because a why can change quite frequently. If I was to
Mhm.
say, Jack, right now in this moment sitting here, I tell you, what is your why? Why are you bodybuilding right now? What would you say?
For me, I'm using it as a conduit to be a better person.
Hmm.
Just because I know, like, what I ultimately want is I would love to be on the Olympia stage, but I also can't hold on to that so tightly because I that deserves a lot of work to go there, and I'm not entitled enough for me to go, hey, I'm just gonna fucking go on stage and be there. So there's got to be something there driving me, and it's like I need to be fucking so in love with this every day, where I'm like, okay, I can feel myself being a better person, and like I'm wanting to use this to leverage. Like I say, I'm going to challenge myself. How much of a how much can I work on myself, you know, to
Mm.
raise my standard and attract the reality that I want,
Yeah, yeah.
like being conscious, like I say, like conscious of the cheap dopamine that I'm having and this, that, the other. I'm like, because when I got the card, it was almost like I told myself, I assumed to myself, I'm like, I've got to transcend when I do this. It
Mm.
wasn't this acknowledgement of, oh, when I get this card, everything's going to happen and everything's going to be fucking great.
Mm.
Some people have that thought, but I knew it wasn't going to be like that. I was like, okay, I need to know what that looks like.
Yeah,
Uh, and that's me just leveling up as a fucking person, right?
yeah, yeah,
And I was like, okay, well, how do I want to level up as a person? Okay, then I'm asking myself why enough times. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, wow, this is actually exciting. Let's
yeah.
fucking do this. So next time we go on stage, it's a symbol of all the
Your own
shit that I've
evolution.
done.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
yeah,
That's sort of where I'm at currently.
yeah. I think it's funny because it's like life's taken a bit of a change for me because obviously recently I had my daughter.
I was just going to say that was going to be one of my questions is how has life bodybuilding changed since you've had your daughter?
It's hard to express because it's like it's still me and I still love it and I'm more willing than ever to work hard because I'm very proud of what I know I'm capable of.
Mm,
Um, honestly, between us and everybody that watches, I am disappointed in what I've done and presented over the last couple of years. But it's not to say that I don't think I can be better. Um, I put a lot of my measure and my worth not to people. I don't care what my worth is with my bodybuilding competitions to other people, but I care about them to me because of where I've come from and how far I've come.
yeah.
Um, because I measure, it isn't every measurement of me as a man. I think I'm a good person regardless, but it is a measurement of something I give a damn about.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
and and I look at most bodybuilders, yeah, in a way, I suppose, where I'm like, I understand, I understand you, and I hope that you love this as much as me. Because if you do love it as much as me, you'll go far. Um, and obviously, since Haley was born, it's just the only difference really is the consciousness from the health aspect. Because prior to her, not to say that I don't care about health, because of course you do.
Mm.
but you suddenly become very, very cautious of your time here and how to prolong it, and the fear of. I suffer with something called what's the word? It's like it's premature. It's like premature grief. I've had this since probably since my mum passed away. It's like I all the things I look at and I love or positive, I picture myself in the moment of the loss of them before it's even my thing.
Yeah.
Um, there is a term for this, and it's just something that I've done. Why it's hard to kind of shake, and I am trying to train my mind not to be that way. But for example, I had my daughter, and a lot of the time, if I'm not busy or occupied, I have thoughts of me no longer being here and seeing her response to that, and what she would say to her friends when they ask, "Where's your dad?" And then she has to have the reply of, "My dad's not alive." And it's like, and I have that with a lot of things. Yeah, it's pretty tough. But it definitely came from just prolonging grief of my mother passing away, and then probably that being stacked with when Luke passed away, because they kind of happened a year after each other, and I kind of just cracked on. Honestly, the minute my mum passed away, like literally the minute where the couriers come to take her body out the door, I left the door at the same time. I went to the gym and trained back.
Yeah.
So bodybuilding for me is very bodybuilding is very. It's been so prevalent and present in my life that I've got every feeling towards it. I got love, I
Yes.
got hate, I got happiness, I got despise. It's such a part of me that it's like really hard, but that's why I have so much pride towards what I do within it, because I'm like, it's been such a part of me for my life that I have to do what I set out to do, because otherwise it's occupied too much of my life for it to be the case.
Yeah.
There's a reason it's been so heavily coincident with all the things that have happened and mattered. You know,
Yeah.
it's weird. It's bodybuilding like a surrogate parent for me, really. Like growing up,
Okay.
my father left like really early, and I wanted to do something to get his attention. Only thing I knew of him being a young boy is I was like, he's strong, he likes training or whatever. So I thought, you know what, if I go and make myself physically strong, then I will earn his love. That's basically what it was. That was the whole driving force behind that. Um, and I was knocked back loads of times by him saying, no, I can't be a part of your life, even directly, via messages and stuff. But I persisted. I was like, no, I'm going to just do great things, blah, 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 blah. And, like even to this day, there's still that part of me that's like, I suppose you haven't done enough. And it's not because of him now. It's not because of him not being here. It's because of me setting such a pressure on myself that the pressure is actually a lot larger than I anticipated, and it hasn't been fed yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that a continuously evolving pressure? As in, if you 5, 7 years ago was to look at where you're at now, would you be satisfied with what you've achieved? Or was this like an original thing? I need to do this, and
It's,
then I'd be satisfied.
it's definitely evolved.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's the hurdle. It's the post. The hurdle. The post thing. It's like
Yeah.
every time I've managed to level up to a certain standard, then I'm auto locked into the next standard. Like
And that's a paradox, isn't it? Because how do you
the
stay
distance
hungry?
of, yeah, it's
Yeah, it's like, how can you stay hungry without that being? If you were fully content,
that's
would
the
you
thing.
not
There's
just be complacent? You know?
for sure that, and that's the thing. That's why I still go, because I'm not content.
Yeah,
But then
yeah,
sometimes, as you become mature and mature as an adult, you understand that contentment is a beautiful thing.
yeah,
And I know these things. Like there's two sides to me as an individual. There's literally two conflicting persons. There's the side that understands that my life, I could make it a certain way tomorrow that would be the most rewarding spiritually. But then there's James from all those years ago, still heavily in there. Like I
yeah,
know I could move to Norway like next year with Yannicka, and I could start a life there, step away from bodybuilding, do something completely different, fresh start, take in the air, and be healthy and free.
yeah.
But you know, like when you watch a movie and there's just this guy that almost repents and changes, but then it gets to crunch time and they're like, I'm still that person.
Yeah, some John Wick shit.
Yeah, and
Yeah, he gets
it's
pulled back
John Wick
in.
shit. It's literally I could do the John Wick. I could go and get the dog, and I can go and like turn my life
Mm.
around. But there's just going to be this. There's always going to be this seed in me that if you give it even remotely pour the smallest amount of water on it, it's going to grow rapidly. And I don't know if
Yeah.
that's ever going to dissipate. You know, my hope is that it does when I've done something of what I consider valuable, but it might not because who knows? You know, the way I'm talking shows that it's like a cancerous growth in a sense. It just keeps growing.
I can relate to that so heavy,
Mm.
right? And I think it's so interesting you say that because it's like you can have the option of contentment, and would you take it? If someone was like, okay, here's the red pill, the blue pill, and you can have this level of contentment that gets rid of this
Wait,
yeah, this yearning to just do more and more, that will this unsatiated void. Um, or do you want to keep it and just keep see how far the rabbit hole goes, right? And that's the crazy dilemma. And I think a lot of people, even off at that, would go, hey, it's like if you could take a magical psychedelic that will make you realize and go, oof, you know, um, I found peace and I know where to go. But the answer is going to get rid of bodybuilding completely. Like, would you do that? Would
yeah,
that be
that's the
something
problem.
you'd do?
That's the thing, isn't it?
It's
That's where I think I found it. Everyone's lives are very different, but then I think there's a level of understanding between everyone. If something's just been, you know, by your side for as long as it has, walking away from it just becomes an incredibly difficult thing to do.
for
Um,
sure. It's
and I,
part of your identity,
it's
isn't it?
part, yeah, it's just a huge part of you, you know. And I suppose I've always liked struggle. Um, I find a certain level of my peace in thinking that I'm not quite there yet.
Yeah,
You know, it's like I like being on the treadmill and I'm doing it for 30 minutes and I'm on minute 29.
yeah, yeah.
I'm that guy, you know. And it's always been that way. And I think that's how I've done even what I've done. Not that I've done as much as other people. That's how I've done what I've done. It's just by being optimistic,
Yeah.
but very like, okay, I'm close to where I need to be. I've never felt it's very rarely that I feel like I'm miles away from where I need to be. Hence, that's why I still go because if I felt that way, it might be different. But because I'm always like, oh, it's not far, it's within reach, and I always feel like it's within reach or whatever I'm trying to achieve, and therefore I'm willing to give it the energy because I'm like, if I turn back now, you'll never reap the rewards of the possibility of what could have been.
Yeah.
Mm.
No, that makes sense. And again, it's that paradox. Do you stop and until you've convinced yourself that it's enough, or do you stop when you've stopped? You know? And that's like how do you define that?
Yeah.
Is their goal like if you got the Olympia, would it be the need to then get two, to then get three, you know?
I always laugh at that because I'm like, that's one thing that I don't know what I'd do because I think I very highly respect people that have that mentality to continue to
Yeah.
hold on to something of that magnitude because I do believe if I won it'd be a one and done because I'm a calculative person. I calculate risk versus reward normally and potential for repeat performance and all those kind of things. I probably get in my head too much, but I would have been like cash out.
Mhm.
I would have done it Eddie Hall. Put it that way.
Yep, yep. I think he did it very clever, but do you reckon there are some days he's like, fuck,
Oh,
what if? It's like
maybe.
Thor got the thing now, and I knew I could have fucking beat that number, and I
Well,
could have got a bit more, and then it's like, uh, it, is he at that level of contentment,
I
or
think
does that eat at him?
I
It's
think
like,
he's done a great job of now filling that hole of those thoughts with all the other things he does now. It's
yeah,
like unless you replace that starvation with a different starvation, like a desire to do well at something, then you're going to have a real
mhm,
hard time. And obviously, he's someone like Eddie, like his YouTube is doing really good.
Yeah.
He does a podcast, he's doing YouTube. And that for that to succeed, I imagine the passion had to just shift. Still the same amount. He must have to be incredibly does like he must have huge levels of desire,
100%.
and he's just what he's managed to do is find a new desire, which is what most people I know who've left bodybuilding have done with their lives. They've normally found something else that lets them put the same amount of energy and focus into it, and therefore gives them the same sensation of achievement and accomplishment. It's just a different thing. And I wonder, maybe that's, at my age, that's what's maybe potentially something that's around the corner. Maybe it's my daughter. Maybe it's once she starts talking, I'm like, wow, that's my
Yeah.
thing. I can, yeah. So
Well, they do say, like, obviously I haven't got kids on my own, but I've heard plenty of time, like, when someone has a kid, it is a feeling that you couldn't prepare yourself for. It's that you can't describe, and it does redefine you automatically by having a child. It's like your
it
purpose just comes in.
it definitely it gets this like claws into you, and it's now something that opposes a lot of the way that I am.
Yeah.
So it's contradictory of many factors of what have made me who I am. So therefore, you have to change.
Yeah.
So my struggle right now, and my it's a struggle, but what I'm trying to work on is how to be both. Be
Right. Yeah.
James, but be the best James for your family and for your daughter, because ultimately she's the thing that matters the most now out of anything. It's okay to still have your goals and your drive and your passion, and I believe that you can still reach what you do, but there will come a time, and it's the first time I've like kind of really gone, oh, there will come a time though that will change. Although like I nearly retired in 2022 actually, because I got to a point with my bodybuilding where I was sick of comparison. I was sick of social media. I was like, I'm tired of being on media outlets being compared to people and spoke about in positive and negative ways. I missed the bodybuilding of when I was in the amateur ranks, of which you just turned up and got the job done or didn't, and then you just go away and continue to work. So in 2022 when I was prepping, I even said to Yannicka, I said, if I can't live the life the way I want to do it, then I will retire. If I don't do well, I did 2 shows that year. I was skating still. I was like keeping myself really mentally James, like
Yeah.
enjoying the gaming, enjoying all the things that make me who I am, would take all the pressure off. I didn't look at social media. I didn't compare myself to anyone else's physique. It was none of this, oh, blah, blah, blah. And that year, I got a third at the Arnold UK. And then 2 weeks later, or whatever it was, I won the Tsunami Cup, qualified for the Olympia.
Yeah. I
And
remember that. I
yeah,
remember watching the Arnolds.
yeah, and I knew at the time, I was like, you can fucking be really good at this and not have to be a part of this clown fucking house.
Yeah.
And the only thing that pulled me back into the clown house and why I kind of struggled, and this is just me being truthfully honest with you, is trying to show up for social media and contracts.
Yeah.
This world becomes very different. This world becomes very different when you allow money to be a pressure.
So in an ideal, like, do you reckon there's worth in, I don't know, having your own supplement company or something like that, even though there'd be a ton of work behind that,
I
or just
think,
having an income outside of bodybuilding completely?
yeah, I think the best thing for anyone would be one that your income isn't based on prancing about on social media.
Yeah.
Because that's the bottom line. Like if you've got money coming in from businesses that you don't have to film everything you do every day and expose yourself to large audiences, then that's way better. Because again, a lot of people can watch that podcast like, well, you're just soft and not built for today's times. It's never about being soft. It's never about this. It's about moral compass and what you think is valuable and what's not.
Yeah.
And I have managed, to secure some decent positions within companies. But alongside that, and as grateful as I am for the financial support and whatnot, a lot of the time I've actually felt worse. And that's just being honest, whether people go, oh, you're a dickhead because you've earned good money just being a bodybuilder. But I have felt I felt worse because I feel like I'm then really comparing myself. I'll watch someone else, how they promote things or what they do, and I'll be like, well, I'm falling behind. We live in a time where people are making. I go to the gym and I see one with their tripod out, and then I see 2 minutes later on their social media, they've done like this reel that looks professional as fuck. I mean, like flash, boom, 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 products, boom, boom. And I'm like, I'm fucking 37-year-old, ain't me, mate. I just started bodybuilding to bodybuild, and I thought if anyone wants to follow suit, then my way of like being an influence is just by doing what I do and just talking to people in a way that's respectful. So like
Yeah,
this, that's my influence. My influence has never been I can edit the best video and make this look fancy. It's more that I am actually a fucking bodybuilder that's got to Olympia. I do actually take these supplements. So if you do actually want to like do something seriously, you're probably in a good place if you listen or follow suit. I'm not telling you I know how to do everything, but I kind of know how to do some things rather than be like, okay, I'm going to make this look jazzy. Um,
yeah.
you
And
know,
that's the way it should be.
it
That's
should.
like quite a rational thing to say and to think, and because you would think that way. Like you would think it would be that way, should I say? It's like, but this is where it's crazy. Like I can put up a video, um, and I'll be like, okay, this is this, and there'll be someone who's not training, going, nope, right, and like, but why do you think that? Why
Yeah.
would you come to that conclusion? It's like, wow, I saw this off such and such.
Yeah.
And it's like, right, okay. And then people are attaching, again, it's this whole idea of when your idea of success as a person is attached to the engagement that you're getting. And, it's going to be hard not to fall into that trap because, well,
Because there's financial reflections upon that.
exactly,
And then we will
exactly.
look we all look at money like it's that's my worth when it really fucking
That it
isn't.
is. It isn't. And then, I think that's the 3D lesson is what you're saying, when you get to that point, you're like, holy fuck, I thought this would make me happy. And it hasn't. It's made me more unhappy because I've lost what this a part of me trying to get to here,
Yeah.
and I'm no longer reflecting myself in the way that I want to. And it's
A,
that's the
a,
trick.
a situation that was very similar, and I won't go too deep, but obviously, Luke Sander was a friend of mine. He passed away. One of the discussion that we used to have a lot was how he felt so pressured because of the income he secured.
Yeah.
It bothered him so much that we'd go in and do training sessions that sometimes we didn't even train because we just needed to talk. Because there's this just feeling that comes with it, like imposter syndrome, or not even the imposter syndrome necessarily, but like how long can I sustain this for? This putting on this mask and being like, take this, do that, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And I remember like it bothered him a lot. It felt like I think he felt like he had to keep up an act, and then you just find it really hard to go and be yourself. Like you can't just go and train, and like even if you are filming, you feel like you can't be your normal self. You have to mention this or mention that, and I get it, but it's the levels of which the person themselves feels inauthentic that's the problem. And then yeah, you got to get anyone that's listening. Oh, maybe get another job then. Yeah, true. Honestly, probably yes. Get another job because if that would keep you feeling better, maybe it is better. Maybe it's wise to do coaching, or maybe it's wise to do something completely outside of this industry, just so that you're not being wrapped up in the big picture of the rat race, I suppose.
Yeah, yeah. And then it's like, what job would be compatible and fund bodybuilding to the extent that I want to do it? That's because when I've
Streaming, bro, gaming and
streaming,
streaming. If
do you
me,
know what?
if we could get that up to like a good amount, that'd be really fantastic.
Bro, that I would love to do that. That's something that I've started doing.
Yeah, I noticed.
Um,
Saw that.
it's absolutely not going well.
I'm the dude. I'm
I'm
the same. I've
like,
been doing it for years, and I'm like, I've got really loyal people that come in, but I'm like, where's my? I've got to
yeah,
have a few thousand people in it by now.
yeah, literally. And it's like, hmm. And then you can sort of get into it with that. It's like, well, if I was doing some wacky shit on the camera whilst I'm streaming, or if I was saying some this,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
then,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
if I was a person just screaming my bollocks off
yeah,
all
yeah,
the
yeah.
time, and then you've got a clip, but I think that's also a part of what I'm doing now is like, I'm like, I just want to do shit that I am
Just do it for
enjoying.
you. Just do it for you.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, I'll just, for me, I'm like, I may as well just put this streaming on whilst I'm just doing something I enjoy.
Exactly,
And
because
if
it's just an
people want to come
additional.
along,
100%. It's
yeah,
like, what's the worst that can happen? Oh, you get a group of people that actually appreciate you coming on and having a chin wag.
that's it. That's it. And that's when you ask me like what is my why currently, I suppose finding the way to enjoy this is like just doing shit like this.
Yeah.
I'm like, I just want to do a podcast, but I want to do it in a way where I'm having a chat, a conversation that I want to have. And it's not like, oh, let's have a
Oh,
create drama and shit.
okay, we know what's popping off in a minute. Let's go into that.
Yeah.
Like trends is everything. Like, it's unfortunate because it's like, I do a podcast with Justin Shire. We do
Mm,
our own little one, and it's
yeah.
pretty much the same as this. We just talk about what we want to talk about for people that want to come in and listen to something that's just very authentic rather than geared towards what's going to create the most views because it's in response to something popular.
Yeah. And you got to think that's actually the most rewarding because it maybe doesn't generate the most views or income or whatever it is in that process, but at least the people that are watching it are your people,
Yeah, they're
you
real
know?
people who are for you. But also as
Yeah.
well, you don't imagine if we're all regurgitating what each other do so many times that we essentially almost become the same people.
Yeah. I mean,
That's another problem that's with all this.
yeah. And same with ChatGPT. People aren't even regurgitating it.
No,
It's ChatGPT
they are
regurgitating it.
just literally, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's like you're finding like you're reading the same caption over and over again. You're like, holy shit, or whatever. That's another thing. It's like people aren't even making their content anymore.
No,
You
no.
know?
But yet they can, you can get the end result where I don't know. It's just the bottom line is the subject of this is inauthenticity, really, and
Yeah,
being able to being able to live with it or not live with it. So does money for many or popularity mean more than authenticity?
yeah,
And I and I
yeah.
and I and I just can't personally wire myself to agree.
Yeah, but I think that's the way it should be. But that's also, I suppose, a problem existed before this, and if you exist during this. It's like you would have been, I suppose, conditioned to think
Mm,
like this is what it should be about.
mm.
Um, and even if you went away and you did all the work, you would be somewhat incompatible with the rest of
Sure.
the world. That's
Do you think we live in a time where just everyone thinks they're too important to everybody?
yeah. I mean,
And that's what I find, and
that's
that's
100%, man. I think with this with social media, it makes it easier than ever to self-aggrandize, and people are just becoming more and more narcissistic. And this is why people can't take fucking constructive
can't.
criticism.
No.
They don't ask questions. They just rather tell and correct people, And I find it's bringing out the most toxic traits in people where they want things fast as well because
Oh
they feel
yeah.
entitled to shit,
Yeah.
and they want these quick fixes and I believe that bodybuilding, but also people in general, are just becoming soft because it's also convenient
Yeah. Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
And as I remember this great quote from Jimmy Carr where it's like, life has never been so objectively better, but subjectively worse.
Yeah. 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 I see that one. And it's true.
It's
Yeah.
so
It's
fucking
true.
true.
Like you say, on paper, you're like, yeah, okay, life's great for everybody.
Yeah.
But the quality within that existence is nowhere near where it
Yeah.
could be.
And people are
Um,
feeling like so entitled to shit. And it's like, I feel I'm important, do you know who I am? And blah, blah, blah. It's like,
it's actually embarrassing.
it is, man.
Uh,
It
and
is.
that partly is actually one of the things that makes me sometimes go, um, like if there was something to make me like not enjoy being in bodybuilding, again, I can only talk about bodybuilding as such because it's the demographic that we're really talking about. Because I know this is not just in bodybuilding. All this occurrence is happening across all boards in every kind of context. But yeah, like it makes me just want to go. You know what? I just don't like the ego within this right in a minute.
Yeah,
You know, I
yeah,
like for me. I know a lot of people, and I should like it gets to the point where look, social media, for example, I could know people. I could know people who know me that choose to not follow me because there are egos involved
yeah.
in respect to like it's a weird one because I don't want to say this without saying egotistical, but there'd be people that practically, and this works for a lot of people because I know the feeling. A lot of people choose to they lift themselves so high that they don't actually think it's cool to like follow or support others,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
like no, it's okay if we like follow each other because it doesn't take away from anybody.
We're all
And
doing
I
the same
experience this a
shit.
lot. I know a lot of people that follow the people closest to me, literally like everybody around me except me. And I'm like, and I know the only reason they're doing it is just like an ego protection thing.
Yeah.
And they probably, the person or people probably want to be a really good bodybuilder and probably want to excel beyond what I've achieved. And that's fine. But it doesn't mean you can't do that if you take in
Exactly.
things that I do. If anything, I'll probably help you get there
Yeah,
because I'm one of them people that is willing to help.
that's it. And again, that's like it
It's
is an element of ego.
yeah,
And it's crazy because I don't know. I try to think about things as one, it's not that deep. It's
no,
never that deep. Like that's a big thing. It's like you shouldn't take life that serious, and I think that's the issue that people are having. But also imagine like if we were all born at the same time, we all got into it at the same time, we'll all be pretty much at a similar place, right?
sure.
Just like some people are ahead because they've done it for longer, because they started it before, and this, that, the other. It's like I want to support everyone who is just passionate about it in a way
Anybody
that
gives a
I
shit about
feel.
in the way that you do.
Yeah, man. And
Yeah,
it's like if like that person who's 18 years old and I can look at and I relate, and I'm like, I remember when I was 18 years old,
yeah,
you know. Um, it's like, fuck, I'm gonna give that guy a follow because who the fuck knows? Like in 10 years' time, he could be like, whoa,
for sure.
you never fucking know, right?
Absolutely.
Anyone could be anyone. And I
Yeah.
think people forget that. And we're also no one's as important as they think they are. That's another thing to remember.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and again, it's just when you do that, you can actually find a lot of peace when you recognize that and you
It's
just
like to be able
enjoy
to
it.
walk in a room and understand that the other people in there are just as complicated as you, just as thoughtful and just as creative. And
Yeah,
that like by allowing them to talk as well in your space and listen could help you in so many ways.
100%, man.
Never write people off, man. And I suppose never really, always form an opinion yourself rather than listening to an opinion. Because that happens a lot in our industry as well. Is like someone will say someone's a dickhead or this and that. And it's like you'll meet the person and you meet them many times, and every time they've been really good with you. So you're like, well, really, you should take people how they treat you.
Yeah,
Instead
yeah.
of forming opinions on people based on someone else's
That's the
experiences.
thing,
Yeah.
because a lot of the time people project as well.
Oh, it's
Um,
so much, so much, and I know because we've probably all been guilty of that ourselves in regards to, you
yeah,
know,
man.
yeah,
Yeah, and it's like it's again, it's like you can recognize that and you can work on it. And unfortunately, it doesn't mean other people are going to.
yeah,
And you can even highlight, it's like, hey, I think you're doing this thing that you are projecting, blah blah blah. No, 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 no.
yeah.
And now more than ever, I feel like people don't just take accountability. I'm like, why not, man? Because that's the best way to fucking be
That's the way to
better.
heal it. It heals you.
Yeah, yeah, man. It's like,
Like just listen for a second. Go, you know what? Maybe that is the case, and I would feel better if I actually like kind of attack this head on rather than keep putting it to the side.
100%,
Yeah,
100%. And it's like as bodybuilders, right? We want to know where we need to work on and what
for
we can do
sure.
better in the
Yeah,
process.
yeah, yeah.
So some people don't want to hear that, and I'm like,
Maybe some
that's
people you tell them and they're
crazy.
like, no, 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 and then they go. it's like when someone, I know, like you could leave a coach because you didn't like what they said,
Yeah,
like, but they've probably said what you need to hear sometimes. I'm not saying that's the
yeah.
case all the time because I've left so many coaches,
Mm.
but in regards to like just taking actual constructive criticism is a huge part of the potential to develop.
Yeah.
And that's the same,
It-
like you would do that in any other life opportunity, wouldn't you? If you're like, it's funny, it's easier to kind of respect someone who's not, doesn't do what you do than it is to respect someone who does do what you do, which makes no sense.
yeah, man.
Like,
Yeah.
many a time you've probably had a conversation with someone that has a totally different walk of life than you. And you go, wow, man, that guy's smart. But then when it's someone in your own game and they say it, you're like, ah,
Yeah, he thinks he knows everything.
yeah.
And yeah, when it's like there's something to learn from everyone. I mean, even if it's not what to do, it's like you can
Oh,
pay
even
attention, you can
if,
learn
yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You can always learn something. Regardless, even if someone's at the beginnings of the journey, it's like, fuck, maybe they found a way earlier. And it's like, wow, okay, cool.
Yeah, yeah,
There's a perspective I've gained because as soon as you say, uh, I know enough. That's when I mean, as soon as you establish yourself as an absolute in a certain thing, you leave yourself open to become shit at that thing.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know, you go, I'm, I'm smart enough. And wow, you leave the opportunity to become dumb.
yeah.
It's like I'm humble. That's when you leave the
Oh, that's it.
opportunity
Yeah,
to
yeah,
become
yeah,
arrogant. It's like I'm self-aware. That's when you go lose awareness, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You should always
Facts.
be like, like, right, okay, where can I improve?
Yeah,
And then you're just gonna keep fucking growing and evolving as
yeah. You
opposed to
never
what that's
complete. You'll never complete anything.
no,
You
no,
shouldn't. And that's
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 it.
like, funny enough. That's why we said about it being on the treadmill 29
I
minutes.
was just thinking that. Yeah, I was just
It's the
thinking
same.
that.
It's the same thing. It's a personality trait that can bleed into what you do and who you are.
100%. And people, I heard somewhere it's like the most successful people don't have an ego or a very small ego, right?
Mm.
Um, I think that's because they're at that point where they just allow themselves to grow and evolve. And
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah, yeah,
sometimes you just got to eat humble pie and eat shit, man,
yeah,
and just
yeah.
go through
Facts.
it. Um, like God, this we went into a fucking rabbit hole with that
That's
one.
my fault. I always do that.
It's all right, mate. I'm the same, and I knew this was gonna happen. It's great. It's great though. Like so with your off season now, how is that going? Your because I look at these photos and I feel like there's something different going on. As in, I, this seems to be a very good version of yourself. Are things just clicking with Zach? Are you finding?
Yeah, I think it's the same old story in it. Like, oh, less drugs, less yeah, like less systemic stress. And I hate to try and sound scientific, but last year was a stressful year. I fell out with Jordan Peters, decided to sell my half of the gym. My daughter was in the process of being born. I felt very pressured to perform on stage because I wanted to consolidate security for our future financially. So I'd already put a lot on myself, and I think it just caused my body to not be as efficient as it could have been. And then paired with, what I would say were not the best preps, not because the um not because of the desire from the coaches for wanting me to do well. It's not that at all. It's compatibility purposes, like the approach itself. So it's just a logical thing rather than an emotional thing. Everybody that's ever worked with me wants me to win. I get it. But it's just some things are black and white, and some approaches, unfortunately, are white and some are black. Um, and last year just wasn't. I wasn't in the groove with the right flow from what the approaches were. On top of the kind of stress, but I didn't mind the stress, and I never used the stress as an excuse because I'm like, I kind of like having something going on that makes me like that. Because then
Yeah.
the gym is more enjoyable because it's my like kind of escape from the reality. So right now, like I don't, mate, dude, I just literally, what was it? Like I did a couple of shows at the end of last year. They obviously didn't go fantastic. Got like fifth at the British Pro Show, and then like eighth in Japan. There was 32 people in Japan, so give myself a little bit of credit. It wasn't like I did terrible, but I didn't deliver what I wanted to. But obviously me and Zach worked together at the tail end of the prep. So we brought back what you can do. So like if I'm looking better now, it's probably because I've spent now some time with Zach through essentially a surplus.
Mhm.
Um, it's not like I've been doing anything magical in the gym. It's not like I'm stronger than I've ever been or anything like that, because I'm not. Whether that's just because I'm older or if it's because I don't abuse as much gear as I used to, I don't know. Or it's the style of training. Um, so maybe my body's just a bit happier and it's just clicking. I haven't had a coach that I've seen in person that much in the last however many years. It's all been online. I think that makes a massive difference.
I think so too.
I think that's the
I think
most
so too.
crucial thing for a high level bodybuilder, is that you need a coach who is actually in distance to see you, because there's just too many things that can go on that you just can't translate over pictures. And this is
Yeah.
this is something I spoke about in my previous years with Patrick. I obviously stopped working with Patrick, and it was kind of like wasn't the best breakup at the time. Um, but my reasonings were, I never blamed him for being a bad coach. I was never like, he's a bad coach, because he's not. He's incredible. I actually was like, I'm done and I'm pissed off with sending videos and pictures to people, because I just think it's not fair for either party, because they're getting something that's a fucking the variable could be like that because of the lighting, because of the video quality. Like, how can I expect them to be the best at what they do if they're getting shitty updates like that? And then how
Yeah.
can I be my best if it's like a game of Chinese whispers, if the information is getting, muffled there and then back? So I said to myself,
100%.
even back then, I was like, I'm never going to work with a coach that's not in the same country again. Obviously, I didn't listen to myself. I fucking made some calls a few years later. So maybe it's just because my head forgot what I said. So yeah, I think just that. Like, I'm actually lighter at a minute. Like, I'm like today I'm 288. I'm down from 300 or whatever, because I was peaked up 300 in like the off season period. Right now, I'm actually dieting. So with I don't know what intentions as of yet. We're just going to diet and see what's what.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
So
rather than be like, oh, do a show or have to.
yeah, no, that makes sense. Sort of let the body sort of dictate things.
Yeah,
Because sometimes you can force it against what it wants.
yeah.
And if you let the body flow with what it wants, I get that for sure. And I find the results are a little bit better. Because if you, again, you try to work against it, you're just gonna have a
The
shittier
resistance.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's resistance as
resistance.
well. So yeah.
Yeah, 100%. But it's I feel like 100% having a coach that you can't see in person, just even from a communication aspect.
100%.
They could see your demeanor. They could see how you're training.
Yeah, and I've always struggled with communication if it's on like over the phone, because I feel hard to be truly myself.
Yeah,
Um, because I almost analyze what I'm going to say before I say it, and then I overanalyze it, and
yeah,
I'll change it 10 times, and then it's no longer the true response that I was going to send,
yeah,
because I'm too cautious. Because I'm like, well, if it's going in text, the text has to be perfect. Whereas realistically, it should just come out,
yeah,
you know,
100%.
as you think in the moment. And that's the problem with doing it over this, is that you will read it through. Oh, that sounds shitty. No, I probably shouldn't say that. No, no. If it sounds shitty, it doesn't matter. Just like send it in original form, because then you're going to get the most organic, genuine conversation out of each other. But I've just always
That's it.
struggled with that.
No, that's it. That's it. I can relate to that because obviously you want to get to a point where people don't misinterpret what you intend, but then
Sure.
you start changing the premise of what you've said, so it's going to be misinterpreted
Absolutely.
because
So you've actually just
yeah,
caused yourself more harm than good.
yeah, but it's easy to do. I get that for sure.
Yeah.
No, that's it's so there's nothing planned here. You're just gonna sort of go with the
I think I'll
flow.
just know. I think I'll just know. Like give me another 6 weeks or so, and then if my body's like looking a certain way, I'm feeling pretty like fired up.
Hmm.
Just take it all the way there.
It's fucking good time.
But
Yeah,
but the goal with Zach, and Zach says this himself, is to just make sure that I just don't overdo it.
yeah,
Because the thing with like certain physiques, like mine especially, it gets to a certain weight, and that's kind of the best it will look. And then if you keep dieting it to get leaner, it doesn't really look any better. It just looks smaller. And
yeah.
that's the case for some
Very
people. It's not the case for others. But yeah, for me, I don't get any more like
100%.
I don't get any new detail or get more dug out. I just actually start to just look smaller. So it hurts me
Yeah,
from not being the shortest. I'm 5'11". I'm like, quite tall really in regards to bodybuilders.
I feel like a similar thing happened with Samson.
Oh, 100%.
When he tried, yeah,
2024, 2025 Olympia.
yeah. And obviously he was listening to everyone to just go and do the thing. But I think at least he's got peace of mind now where he's explored that.
Yeah, now he knows
And it's,
no, fuck that. Yeah.
yeah, fuck that. I'm just going to be
Because like I say,
400.
he even if his body fat was on technically on paper like down, you can't see it.
Yeah.
So
And
what's the point?
yeah, and conditioning's about, the fullness and it's how lean you are, dry and the detail and people
Man,
just,
bodybuilding is about silhouette, it's about structure, it's about um, muscle density, condition. It's not just one aspect. So if it was just a condition game, yeah, by all means,
yeah,
waste away. But it's not that, and you see that because you see people like um, I don't know, like Andrew Jack last year when he won the FIBO.
yeah,
He was nowhere near in the same shape as Sass last year. He
no,
still won because of muscularity, structure, blah
yeah,
blah blah. Obviously, when you're in the right lineup, if you look at Sass at this FIBO, obviously the condition and lines and stuff
mental.
carried him right through. But he still, so it's all about you just got to get the most out of all the aspects on your body. When does
Yeah,
your body look the best combination of the things it can?
yeah, and that's the beautiful thing about bodybuilding, right? And this is why you can't just copy paste an approach because there is this individual response that also evolves over time of doing it
For
as
sure.
well.
Yeah.
And it's like, how do I get the best version of my physique? It's this combination because people are just like, just get peeled. Okay. Right. But then just be peeled and full. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
well,
Like, all right. So what?
obviously,
If I so how peeled do you want me? And if I have to get that peeled, where does the fullness go? And how long will it take for it to even come back, even if it can?
yeah,
Because it probably can't by that point. If you've literally
exactly.
lost muscle at that point.
That's it. That's it. And it's like you can create so many different looks with the same physique. And there is a version that is the best. And it's like trying to catch lightning in a bottle, isn't it?
It is. It is. I've always found like be in good condition, but just be full as well. Good condition, full.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
would say don't try to chase like stripped out glutes because by the time you're getting stripped out glutes, the upper body's already gone.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
notice your arms, you'll notice your back, and you notice your chest. You notice they're all down
Hmm.
just to
I
just to get
noticed
stripped
that
out
for
glutes.
myself.
Yeah, yeah.
I've noticed that for myself 100%. Like my shape just goes, I just look stringy. And
That's it, and that's the shape. When the shape's gone,
yeah,
you got no chance, and that's the
that's
problem.
it. That's
You know.
it. But again, a lot of people won't understand that. And that's like, I suppose that adds the pressure onto the bodybuilders when it's like, I remember hearing Luke talk about this actually, and people just get grainy, and it's
Oh
like,
yeah, no, he said to Sander all the time. He's like, "Yeah, just get greeny." He's like, "Yeah, if it was that fucking simple."
yeah, it's like fuck. And it's like try it, because it's not. There's going to be a fucking trade off with that.
Yeah, yeah,
And he was like an incredibly hard worker, man,
yeah.
as you know. Okay, so I realized this has been very like an hour and a half, I think.
I don't
So
even know. Yeah,
I don't
maybe.
know. So
I'm just
hey,
chatting.
yeah, mate, I'm having a good time, man. If you're happy to continue, me too, brother. Um, so best top 5 games. What would you say?
Oh, mate, you know what I'm going to say? It's just come on. Let's stay there for a second, and let me just got to lean into this, lean into my cupboard.
Oh, well,
Best five, yeah. Oh fuck,
that's quite tricky, isn't it? If you
probably
put if you
original,
okay, yep.
original RE3.
I need to get
Uh,
on that.
I would say, I would definitely say, I would say maybe RE4 remake.
Okay, yeah.
It's another great one.
And still, again, I haven't
Um,
played that one as well. I'm like,
but
shit.
I'll talk to you about games in a second. I'll come and sit my ass down. It's just because I've got a whole cupboard of Resident Evil there.
Yeah, mate. I'm so eager to play those as well.
Let me turn this light on quickly and turn it just so you can see it for 2 seconds. I'll just have to... This entire cupboard, this one here, it's
Yeah.
all Resident Evil. Toys,
Really?
figures, everything.
Would you say that's your favorite franchise?
I'm a massive fan of the Resident Evil franchise. Yeah, definitely my favorite. But games of all time, man, fuck, like shit, man. Like depends on like the game itself or the like. You can go back in time. You know, you can play something like Metal Gear Solid 2, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
and you can listen to the dialogue in that game now and go, wow, like
yeah.
how much sense it makes to what we were just talking about. Like this
Yeah.
whole episode, basically, if you play Metal Gear Solid 2, you go, how the fuck did Kojima know that it would come to this point? And the funny thing is, apparently he was asked about that. He was like, I'm not good at like reading the future. I'm not like Mystic Meg. He said, I just predicted the worst outcome. I wrote the worst outcome I could think of in the story. And it just turns out that that's the one in regards to like the social media and blah, blah, blah and whatnot. Digital and all that kind of thing. But Bloodborne on PS4, that's an amazing. Elden Ring,
Yes. Yeah, yeah. The
so
hard as fuck games.
great games though, man. So I would
Mm.
say Elden Ring, Bloodborne, Metal Gear Solid 2, not really gameplay of Metal Gear Solid 2, but what it kind of means.
Mhm.
Resident Evil, maybe 3 original. I'm going to put a Final Fantasy in there. Final Fantasy 7 original
Yeah.
instead of the RE3 original because I got Resident Evil 4 in there. So that's probably like that's at least, I've got too many that are my favorites, but those will definitely be close to top 5.
So why the OG Resident Evil over like the remake? I know that they've caught a lot of content, to be fair, from the three.
I love the remake. The 3 remake's still good in my opinion, but
Yeah.
just the original one, man. I don't. I think it's the nostalgia attached to the time of which I played it. I remember playing that original on a Japanese copy, so I couldn't even read the text. Right?
Really?
Yeah. So completing that game was quite fucking hard because there's a
I
couple of
can
puzzles.
imagine.
There's a few puzzles in that game where you got to understand Japanese, and I didn't. Um,
Shit.
3 for me was just like the best of the original trilogy because Nemesis
Yeah.
chasing you, just
Yeah,
like
man.
you just shit your pants. You're just like, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah, man.
Um, Being in the city as well when it's all just like mashed up, like I just thought that was such a cool setting. Um,
100%.
yeah, I think yeah. So that's the thing because of the original trilogy. I think that's the best one. But remake wise, 4 for me is just like the perfect remake.
Yeah, that's the one I'm going to be playing next. I just
It's
thought I'd
so
do
good.
another run through of number two.
Dude, it's so good, and it's got like the best DLC as well. Honestly, it's got
Really?
yeah, it's got a DLC called Separate Ways, which is just they basically made the main game itself is probably like an 8 to 10 hour campaign if you're fast. And then the DLC is probably another 5 hours. So it's great.
Really?
Yeah, it's like another
That's
whole
great.
game. It's really good. Um, but Final Fantasy VII was one that I played a lot as a kid. It was funny. The thing with Final Fantasy VII, oh, this is another. Isn't this weird? Because I'm just talking about Final Fantasy VII. I've got this right in front of me.
Holy shit, man.
That might be why I thought of that one. That game taught me it taught me to be patient with games, man, because those games had just a lot of dialogue and not a lot. They had no voice acting.
Mm.
And it was 4 discs, no, 3 discs long. So it was a very long game. So if you chose to play that and you made it through the whole game, you've soaked in a lot.
Yeah.
I think because that game required you to be so present and in playing it, there's no way that you come out the back end of playing that and not feel something.
Yeah.
Because what requires the investment required to actually get through it. I've never read a book in my life, and I assume it's like reading a book
Yeah, I
because
can imagine.
you have to. It's that investment, and a lot of the discussions in games are what makes me like kind of keen on them. Final Fantasy VII is one of these games that kind of really relevant to like real life. Without making this a gaming podcast, but it's like
Yeah, bring it for.
they talk a lot on the state of the world. And when I was a kid, I always used to think about the state of the world.
Yeah.
From pollution to like all the big questions that just you shouldn't be asking yourself as a kid, like how long will the world last? What will be the end of the world? Why will the end of the world be? always had those kind of things in mind, and that game kind of explores a lot of that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people underestimate the lessons that you could get from the games and the stories that within them.
Yeah,
Like
especially if they're. Go on, sorry.
one of my favorite quotes is "Nothing is true, everything is permitted," as in Assassin's Creed. Uh,
Yeah,
you know, you think about that, it's like fuck, that's so deep because actually a fucking truth behind that shit.
yeah. The
Um,
Assassin's Creed, the earlier ones especially, they were, the
yeah,
plots behind them were quite. Um, they were pretty deep. Like one, two, and I think three were like.
yeah. I didn't really play much past that. Yeah, I think yeah, three was probably where I stopped because I
Yeah,
didn't even complete Black Flag, which I know is travesty because that
because
was
that's like a lot
amazing.
of people's favorite one,
Yeah,
just because you got boats in it.
yeah, pretty much. But I think people underestimate gaming, but I think it is perfect for fucking bodybuilding. Like it's
Gaming's. I think the thing with gaming is you have to remember it was created by someone. So that world and that vision is someone's like a lot of time this is their life's work of trying to create something.
yeah,
So what they've put into it, the amount of passion and love and the desire they had for it to be heard,
yeah,
it has obviously a huge level of importance for them to make it out there. So with that being said, often the quality behind something like that is going to be very up there. Um, because you have to create a story before you even have the promise of it becoming a game.
yeah.
So that world is probably the fantasy of that world, whatever, has probably been living in someone's head,
A
growing
long
with
time.
them. Yeah, and it's also been developed through their own life, through their experiences. So
Mm.
it's almost like a fictional way of telling the mirrored life of a factual being. Because
Yeah,
yeah, so everything is contextualized by a truth, but on the end result is fiction. But to the
yeah,
person who created it, the inspiration was something factual within their world. So although
yeah,
you're looking at something in the eyes like, oh well, that's just a fairy tale. That just shows how imaginative and creative the individual or individuals were behind being able to make something so normal become so magical.
yeah.
You know,
100%. I think about this like George Lucas creating Star Wars.
for sure.
How the fuck, you, and then you think about the parallels that it has in life. You're like, right,
Loads.
okay, yeah. And then, yeah, it's crazy because it it takes playing a lot of games to come to that epiphany
Yeah,
in the world because at face value, people are like, that's just a game.
it's
It's
just a
just,
game. Yeah,
yeah,
and
it's
and and they're right in many ways for maybe a lot of games that have come out in recent years because
there's not as much depth.
not as much depth because a lot of it is now just visual fidelity. What can we make that looks good and seems real, like kind of thing.
Yeah,
Often that takes away from that creativity because individuality is presented in different styles of graphic and you
yes,
know how is it being does it have is it even down to it does it have a narrator, is there someone speaking, or is it text, is it been text to allow you to then create your own voices for the characters because it's about interpretation of what you think they are,
yeah,
or
yeah,
just things like that, like just all these little kind of things that make you not lazy because you have to put something in yourself as well.
yeah, for sure.
Whereas now
You're right.
games are lazy because it's like you just press the buttons. We tell you on screen when to press them. If you die here, it's an auto save, so you don't have to go back and experience it again. There's no lesson to be learned here. It's just simply keep going forward.
Yeah, literally. And I think that mirrors what we were discussing earlier, that there's the convenience there.
Yeah.
And it's just this quick release. It's like Call of Duty. It's like you right, just die, get up,
Well, it's
It's
like they
like,
want you to buy the game and then they want you to buy the next one and move on and just pump again, it's almost like everything's money. Again, everything seems the bottom line is behind everything is some sort of money involvement. Because the game's
I,
cheaper to make if the narrative isn't strong, because the time of the project is shorter, less people needed to make it.
I find when
Um,
money's involved, it starts. You see that, right?
it
And
dilutes
the
it dilutes the quality.
yeah, and God, you can see this in everything, right? You can see this in bodybuilding shows,
Yeah,
even like I know a lot of independent shows that aren't, you know, very money motivated, they're just made out of pure passion.
yeah.
They seem to be fucking really well produced,
Because they don't
really
mind
well produced.
their profits being smaller,
Yeah, because
which is
it's
passion.
not about that. It's not,
Exactly.
yeah.
When profit margins become the main driver, everything starts to blunder, in my opinion.
Yeah, and you see this in all forms of art, really. You see this in, well,
Filmmaking for sure.
yeah, filmmaking. You see this. I mean, a lot of indie companies do very well because there's with making games because again, there's passion behind it. You see this with artists
For sure, for sure, for sure.
when they're making music.
Yeah.
Um, as soon as they get signed, that's
They
when it
change. Their
becomes
music
shit.
changes. It has
Yeah,
no
man.
because they're now part of the big machine that we're talking about. That actually, if you could physically see this machine, if it was like a being, kind of like, do you remember James and the Giant Peach film? Did you ever see it?
I don't think I did know,
Oh
man.
man, you need to see that. But there's basically this storm in it. It's a rhinoceros. It's a storm in the sky, and the reason James's parents died because of some reason because of a storm. So he sees the storm as a rhinoceros raging through the sky. That's his. That's how he sees it. I just wonder what the machine we're talking about now. Like that's what I can
Yeah,
kind of see as this giant like cloud of like just aggression and just feeding,
yeah, man.
and
Yeah.
it bleeds into like say everything, and everything. It actually has its hold on every single industry.
Yeah, to be honest, that reminds me, the that metaphor reminds me of the machines out of fucking The Matrix,
Yeah, 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 yeah,
where it's like just fucking sucking on everyone's fucking life form and shit,
yeah,
and it's
yeah, yeah,
just
yeah. You're just batteries.
yeah, man,
Yeah, you're just
and it
batteries.
just
It's not
feeds
that
this fucking
dissimilar. It's not
machine.
that dissimilar because while we're doing this, if we are doing this and we're scrolling and we're pressing blah 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 and sending things, all the time we're there, there's advertisement being pumped towards us, and the likelihood of us clicking on something or at least giving information towards our interests is there. Trends of
Mhm.
we are literally feeding a machine every single day for
Yeah, man,
hours on end, bro.
shit. It's crazy how there's a bunch of films and games and just content has been made. And when it came out, you're like, wow, imagine this being the future, you know? And then now it's looked at as more of a premonition.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
you could even
yeah.
go like with the Terminator, with
Oh, dude, 100%.
yeah,
And it doesn't have to be the exact mirror. It doesn't have to be physical skeletons walking around shooting people because what we're facing is just as dramatic. Because
yeah,
we're you unalive someone by shooting them as a skeletal robot. Yeah, you terminate them. But you also
hmm
terminate someone's quality of life if you get their attention and take it away from them.
hmm
So all the while we're like 8 hours a day, 9 hours a day. If you check your phone, how that's 9 hours of your life a day, every day. Add that up for the rest of your life. How many hours of your life were not your own?
yeah, man. How fucking close to Wally is that, right? It's like we're just going to be
True.
this fat, a bunch of these fat people
Yeah.
just floating around, just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
you know,
But and I think the sad thing is we've kind of allowed it to become that way because we kind of have to. Because again, oh, we'll pay you a lot if you promote this or do this, blah 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 blah. Yeah, sure. It's all the
it's
system.
it's very seductive, isn't it?
Yeah,
It'll get you
literally.
in,
It's hard to refuse, isn't it?
yeah, until you go. But if you have a perspective of an alternative to ground yourself with, that's where you've got a chance to sort of snap out of it. You go,
Yeah, yeah.
shit, okay,
But that's why I love like true bodybuilding. Because true bodybuilding, you can't not be present when you're doing it.
yes,
So
100%,
the
100%.
quality of your life, if you do it truly,
Yeah,
isn't it doesn't deteriorate if you allow it to be you.
yeah,
Um, I love it. Like I you cannot tell me that when you're in the gym, it's not probably the best part of your day, because you are being so unsympathetically you.
Yeah.
You know?
That like it's when you again you do it properly, you have to be present.
Yeah.
You have to be present. You can't because it's a constant battle of progressing,
Mm-hmm.
and you can't do that without being mindful.
No, and you don't deserve to either, because
No.
someone who is mindful deserves to.
Mm.
And that's the thing.
Yeah.
And if you're giving up your mindfulness for whatever it may be, then you can never really be mad at yourself for not going as far as you could have gone, because you can only be mad at yourself because it's your own doing.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, man.
So if you're annoyed with where you've made it in any endeavor, have a look at your habits and your behavior. How much time was you giving to yourself, or how much time was you giving away?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how many people are willing to do that as well?
Yeah.
Because that's quite a painful reality for a lot of people, but that is also where they can escape
Do you know
the
it's
actual.
nobody these days wants to feel alone. They treat it like that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, you're not alone just because you only talk to 3 or 4 people. That's not alone. That's normal. What isn't normal is actually being connected to thousands of people daily and being overstimulated.
And trying to get their approval constantly.
Trying to get their approval, trying to reply, trying to not let anyone down, because you
Yeah.
feel suddenly this responsibility for trying to uphold the quality of what these people think of you, or how you come across. So, someone you don't even know could message you, and it could then start to bother you because, like, oh, I didn't message that person back. I don't want to look like an asshole. Blah blah. And the problem is that's a slippery slope,
Yeah.
because you have to uphold what you start.
Yeah.
If you begin those conversations, if you wish to be that person that replies to everybody, tries to uphold, you have to then from that point forward manage that, as well as still try to have that mindfulness to progress. Of course, that's probably why I haven't progressed for a couple of years as much as I like, because I've given away a lot because of my personal morals bleeding into the digital world,
Yeah.
which shouldn't even count really, because it's not real,
Yeah.
you know. Because
And
my way I behave on a daily basis works very well in community. I go somewhere, people like me, I like them, we have good conversations. Trying to do that and manage that through these interactions, what does it leave you with? You leave you leave deflated,
yeah. Yeah.
energyless,
You're gonna be hollow.
hollow, and if not, actually start to resent conversation.
Yeah, because there's
You're
going to
like,
be an element of inauthenticity because you're not having a
you're not
conversation.
always, and you're not always happy. You're not always happy, but you're like, yeah, I'm good because
Yeah, because
if you've
that's
messaged me, so I'm good. Thank you for messaging me.
exactly because you can't just go blah 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 blah
Ah, today I
because
feel like fucking shit. I really don't want to talk. Cheers, mate. Bye.
yeah yeah because that won't do, right? That's not
And
on
then and
brand.
then and then you're like, oh well, that means they're going to go around and tell everyone they had a bad experience with me. Now that's what everyone thinks of me. So it's just all
Yeah,
these little.
yeah, yeah. And then you just got to fucking juggle that shit. And then you how again like how do you then it's just you're not having these authentic conversations anymore, right? And then you just there's another mask that you put on.
The only place that really authentic. This is why I still like to go for a coffee every now and then.
Yeah,
When I go to like a Cafe Nero and I walk in there, I'm so refreshed by just speaking to the waiter or the waitress, even
yeah,
for a brief moment in my life, because I'm like, this is just pure unorchestration, in the moment conversation, not based upon influence, not based upon desired response, not based upon anything other than what is right happening in front of us. I'm like, can I have that coffee? And if they reply, yeah, how's your day? Then it's happening there and then. Oh, my day's good. I'm in here because blah 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 blah. What about you? How's your shift been? Those conversations are the ones that I come away feeling very fulfilled and actually very happy to be alive.
yeah, man. God, yeah, 100%. I remember being on the train, right? And I just had a conversation with an older gentleman, and then it just went deeper and deeper. And then I got to learn about basically his life,
Yeah,
and how just that sort of just pyramided. And I got to paint a picture of this guy's life story and how he ended up on that train.
yeah,
And I'm like, wow, that's fucking awesome. Just
yeah,
the chance of it. That's like a, again, the sake of overusing this word, like a very authentic meet of this
yeah,
person.
yeah.
You know, it's not like, oh, I'm going to chat to someone because there's this, I want
There's
something
no
from
agenda.
them.
There's no agenda.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. And everything seems to be transactional, you know?
The I've had so many conversations like that. I remember going to Bath, the city of Bath with Yannicka, and being in a coffee shop at Nero again, actually. And there was an older gentleman opposite us. We had to share the space because it was busy. And again, we got into this massive conversation how he used to. I think he worked on like the Navy boats and all this stuff. And I was just like, I didn't even mention anything I do because I was just interested in listening,
Yeah,
you
man.
know. And sometimes that's really good for your ego as well. You
That's
know,
great.
it's perfect because it's not about just you,
Yeah.
you know. And
Yeah.
that's
And
not
yeah,
to say that there can't be certain things in your life where you're like, no, this is about me right now.
yeah.
But like we said, exhaustion. How exhausting would that be if that's how you feel all the time?
Yeah. You've got to market yourself all the time,
Yeah.
you know? To people that say, I da, 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 da. It's like, no, I just want
I'm
to,
this guy. I've done this. I'm like, you know, blah 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 blah. Mate, I the amount of times I've gone in somewhere and like Yannicka's because I know she's obviously I don't know like proud of my achievements. She'll be like, "Oh, you should have said this and that." I'm like, "No, fuck that. That's stupid. I'm not going to mention anything I've done because for me, it's not the place nor time. I don't want any freebies. I don't want any better behavior because of that. I want to be treated how this person would treat me based upon first sight insight. You know, that's how you know that if you get on with someone for real or not as well. Like, if my first experience with someone is like a negative one, but they would have behaved better if they thought they could get something from me. I'd rather them act like a dickhead because then I know they're not the right person.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, how
Just be
many,
yourself. Like if we don't talk, it's fine because then no one's going to get hurt.
yeah,
You know?
exactly. But if that's real, then like,
Yeah.
and that's always better. Like, how many times have people said, "Oh, I didn't realize you were," and then
Oh,
they've
and then they
changed after saying that.
and then they behave very differently.
Yeah, man.
I'm
And
like
they're
just
just like,
yeah, like
wow, how are you gonna? And some people love that. Some people love that. It's
a
like,
lot of
how
people
you know
do,
who I am now. It's like,
and I get why they do.
yeah,
But again, I think as you mature, and that doesn't mean age, as you just mature as a person, you just realize that that just isn't important.
yeah. I mean, I remember Jordan Peterson sort of saying it's like it's always important to ground yourself in reality
Yeah,
because that's where the truth is going to be. That the
yeah, yeah, yeah,
truth is going to be where the adventure is,
yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know. And I was like, okay, that makes because a lot of people try to manipulate the reality by altering what the truth is, right?
Yeah.
Through they would lie or they would alter a story of
But
what's
then that's
happened.
not on that's either side of reality. So it will get
Yeah,
found out because it's not in the existence. Like if I
yeah,
lie about what I am and you come across me in the real world and those things aren't there, they
yeah,
were existing in something spherical, not in the middle. They're not here. They're floating. They're not around us. They're not us.
yeah,
You know, okay, I'm you know, I do really well for myself. I'm a millionaire. I've got this like 5 bedroom house, and then you bump into me going to my house. Like the bubbles burst, you know, and
yeah.
you what for? Like
That's it. That's it. And
false perception is a weird one.
it is. And there's something I just don't I can't get behind, right? Because when I heard that, I was like, fuck yeah, I love that. I love that.
Mm.
Because then you're gonna like I love the idea of separating reality from ideology.
Yeah.
Because if you try to just base yourself on this ideology of what people perceive you, what you want to perceive yourself as, you're gonna get lost of who the fuck you are as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and if you just base yourself on reality, what I believe like what's meant to happen is supposed to happen because it's
Mm.
just fucking real,
Mm.
right? And again, that may not be the most conducive in regards to money or
For sure.
engagement
For
or
sure.
whatever, but fuck that, right? Because as we mentioned, like you go down that path, you're like, wow, why the fuck am I feeling bombed out? Well, it's because I've just tried to say and do the most ideal things
Yeah,
of what I believe people would want to see from
for
myself,
sure, for sure.
and being validated as another motherfucker that's not me,
Yeah, yeah.
which is not ideal, right?
Facts.
But yeah, brother. Um, Mate, James, it's been incredible. It's
Well, I
been,
appreciate it, man. Honestly,
it
it's good
really,
to have a
really has.
conversation. Yeah, man. I'm always up for
It
talking, man. So I
has.
do appreciate it.
As would love to do it again at some point, brother.
For sure.
For sure, mate. Of course, best of luck with absolutely everything
And
moving
you.
forwards, mate. Just keep killing it, mate. Of
Thank
course,
you,
we're
mate.
gonna
Appreciate it.
stay following it, stay supporting. But before we go, and I'll let you pee and me pee.
Oh, yeah. You know that's coming.
Is there anything you want to leave with? Anything you want to say? Anything you want to?
No, all I'm going to say, I did, man, just like, just really listen to the things that like Jack said today, and like I've kind of joined in on and tried to say, because it may sound like we sound like two old men, just like waffling on about stuff that's not important. But I think everybody will get to a point in their life where a conversation like this will help them actually get past a lot of the kind of issues that we've been talking about. If you do find yourself victim to always feeling like you're not enough or something of that nature, then just take a moment and listen and understand that you're not you're not wrong for feeling that way, but what you could do to better yourself is perhaps draw your attention elsewhere, because there's a reason you're feeling that way. And often it's because the place you're looking is making you feel that way. So just change where you're looking, change where you're looking, look a little bit more, I suppose, inward and close to you, a little bit
Yeah.
more relative. And just, I think from that, you'll just notice a better quality of life. And that doesn't mean you can't bodybuild or can't be really good at what you do or famous or whatever the hell you want to be. It just means that protect the energy that's coming in, um, because ultimately, like we said earlier, like on a subconscious level, things do have more impact than you know, than any of us know. So just don't put yourself in a position to be vulnerable. Protect yourself.
Yeah.
That's it, really. I think that makes
Perfectly
sense.
said, brother. Perfectly
Yeah.
said, brother. Thank you very much, mate. I appreciate it.
Thank you, man. I will see you on the Olympia stage. You will get there one day. I promise you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I probably won't be
And
on it because I'm too old, but I'll be seeing you there.
you never know. I'll try. I'll try to hurry up, bro. I'll try to
Yeah.
hurry
Well,
up.
no, I mean, I'm already old, is what I mean. I'm not saying it's gonna. It probably won't take you that long, but I'm so old already.
Appreciate it, man. Thank
Anytime, man.
you.